I was talking with my friend the other day and he's like, Addison, I don't know what's up with my business. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I was looking at my revenue report the other week and I saw that when I started out my business, it went up like this and then it peaked up, it doubled right here, and then it stayed high and then it got cut in half and it's kind of plateaued the past couple months. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. Well, why do you think that is? He's like, I don't know. Why do you think that is? I was like, well, what did you change this month in the beginning that made it double? He's like, well, I hired another sales guy. I had one sales guy and went to two sales guys. It's like, well, I mean, that makes sense. You just doubled your revenue right there. And then what about this when you went down right here? What happened? He's like, uh, I did change the pricing model, but let me see if that was the actual time. He went back and looked, and it actually lined up perfectly of when he changed the pricing, the sales, the number of sales went down, and the revenue went down according to that sales number. I was like, well, you just found out your two options. One, to increase sales, go back to the old sales model because that was making you more money. And two, every time you hire more sales guys, it's kind of logical you're going to make more and more revenue, right? So you already know the solution. You can go and reproduce that on your business, right? Well, that's the power of looking at the numbers in our own businesses, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. There's 3 points that I like to go over, 3 reports that you really should be looking at in your business: sales report, financial reports, and team reports. We're going to break down each one of those in this video. Number 1, your sales report. What does that include? Now, your sales report, really, when you're starting out, you should be looking at your 3 top key indicators, okay? Down the road, you're going to have many indicators. You're going to have 10 different, 20 different things that you can look at that says, okay, how much, if we do this, if we tweak this on the sales machine, it's going to increase this number and decrease this number. And you're going to look at a lot of complicated numbers, but that's down the road. If you're there, awesome. But if you're just getting started out, you need to just start out with 3 key indicators. A couple of them that I really like are the sales funnel. You got to have this, where essentially you say, it tracks the customer from the very top and you funnel them down into who actually buys, right? So I contacted 100 people and 50 people opened up the door or opened my email, and then 20 people clicked on the link, or 20 people gave a commitment that they were going to have a follow-up meeting, and then 5 people actually bought at the end, right? So I can funnel that down, and so I can track every single step of that process. And you need to have a spreadsheet that actually tracks these numbers every single month, every week, and every day. You're tracking these numbers, okay? So sales funnel is number 1. Number 2 is your conversion rate. On that sales funnel, you're tracking, okay, 20% went from step 1 to step 2, and then 50% from step 2 to 3, and 5% from 3 to 4, right? And then you can see, okay, where am I losing people at? Okay, I need to better this process. I need to better my website. I need to better my script. And you'll be able to know what's going on in that sales funnel, right? Another number to look at is your MRR, your monthly recurring revenue. Now, looking at this from a what is my recurring revenue overall, and then also what am I making per customer? Every customer that I sell, or your dollar per sale, how much is that? I looked at a friend's business the other day, and we saw that on his company, he started out and it was at $30 a sale, and then 33, 33, 33, and then it dropped down to 29, 25, and then dropped down to 20. We're like, what happened so that every single sale actually produced less money? And then we could analyze that stuff, okay? So when you look at the numbers, here's the important thing. is that when you look at the numbers, you'll be able to see trends. What's going up, what's going down. And it's very simple. Whatever's going up, continue to do more of that. Whatever's going down, find out what was that change and don't do that anymore. Change it for the things that are going up. But if you don't track your numbers, you're going to have no idea what's going on in your company. Two more things that you should look at with your sales reports: your lifetime value. So that's how long a customer stays, and your lifetime value of your customer. So you have lifetime and your lifetime value. Lifetime is the number of months or number of years that a customer stays, and then lifetime value is how much money they're worth over a lifetime. So let's say that in the first month they pay $30, but they stay on for 12 months. So you have to do 30 times 12 is $360. So when you get a sale, it's not like, oh yeah, I just made $30. No, really, you're going to make $360 over that customer's lifetime, okay? Here are just a couple of things to be looking at, but if you're really getting started, you should just get the basics and pick 3 of those simple things that you can track and put it on a spreadsheet and track it every single week and every single month so that you can see over a long period of time what your numbers are actually showing you, okay? The second thing is your financial reports. Your financial reports, keeping it very simple right now, because again, you can get very complicated. The number one thing you should have is your profit and loss statement. Or another way of looking at it is your revenue, your expense, and your profit. So how much money you made overall, how much money you spent, and then how much money you profited. And what I like to do is you have it in QuickBooks. Your accountant is keeping track of it, but then I also like to just put it in my own spreadsheet, and that way I can just check it every single week. I can see it right there on my own spreadsheet, and I can track, okay, I made $40,000 this month, $20,000 the next month, $50,000 next month, and be like, okay, what's going on with the overall revenue here, okay? The quick little story is I actually opened up a second location with a previous business of mine, and we were making a lot of profit when we opened up this second location. Probably a couple months. It probably took 6 or 7 months until I realized, where's all of our profit going? Like, we don't have that much profit anymore. And I looked and I separated the 2 locations, and I saw that this first location still was producing the same amount of profit. It was producing even more than before. But this second location had so many expenses. The rent was high, and a couple different things were really high on the expenses. And so it was actually eating away the profit of this first company. And so overall, it looked like we had no profit. But really, this was at like negative profit, and this was at a positive profit, but then together it evened it out. So what we do, we're like, no, let's just shut down the second location. We can't afford those expenses. We're not making enough revenue to afford it, and our profit ended up going high, right? That's another case of looking at your numbers. If you don't look at your numbers, you're flying blind. It's like going in a plane without all your instruments, right? Whatever, the Wright brothers, when they first started and they got up in the air and they're like, I don't know how far I am away from the ground and what the altitude is. I don't know my measurements. And what ends up happening? You end up crashing. And that's bad. Nobody likes crashing, right? The third report is your team report. What do I mean by that? How long you retain your team members. I look at 3 different things. The months worked, whether you fired them or whether they left, and then the reason that they left, okay? And I have all these on spreadsheets, and that way I can track, okay, the average team member is staying on for 13 months. But this year, for some reason, we're seeing that the average team member is only staying on for 8 months. Why is that? The average employees, they're 2 out of every 3 times we're having to fire them instead of them leaving. Why is that? Or they're leaving after 2 months. Why is that? You got to track. There's an old saying that what you track will grow. It's exactly like that in business. You have to track the numbers in order to grow. And I've seen it sadly with too many businesses that they just have no idea what their business is doing. They don't track anything. They don't track their sales. They don't track their finances, and they don't track their team. And so no wonder their business is staying stagnant or it's even going down, because they don't know what has been successful and what has failed, right? So all in all, go ahead. My challenge to you is go ahead and start tracking your numbers. My challenge is to go ahead and take my masterclass. I go through things like reporting right here, but also how to start your business, how to automate your business. And I also give all the templates of the business manuals and the reporting spreadsheets that I personally use with my businesses. And that alone is worth several $1,000s. You can go and spend hundreds of hours yourself and try to recreate those. If you want to do that, that's totally fine with me. Or you can just join the masterclass and you can get those all included. So go ahead, sign up for that. The link is below, and I will see you guys next time.